Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to discuss about LRU cache, and this is going to be a slightly longer video because this question requires some explanation. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I will break this video into two parts. So in the first part I will explain the concept, and in the second part we will implement it in code. And well, there are many, first of all I would like to say that there are many other implementations for this, and like many of them are faster. What I'm going to implement is not necessarily the fastest, but it's going to get the work done, and it also will hopefully teach us many different kinds of concepts. So yeah, let's get started. So we have to design a data structure uh, that follows the constraints of a least recently used cache. So yeah, so this is one data structure, and I will just close this and this also. Okay, yeah, so yeah, actually I'm low on battery, so that's why. So yeah, we need to design a data structure that supports the following operation. So LRU cache capacity, initialize the cache with positive size capacity. Get returns a key value. So this is basically a key value store. So get key will return us the value if it exists, or it will return -1. So this will return -1 if the value doesn't exist, or it will return the value if it exists. So straight away we can start some of the implementation. So what will this contain? It is simply a KV store, first of all, which is from int to int, which is a map from int to int. And if value comma found, this dot KV store key, then, and if found is true, then return value. Then we need to return the value, and else we need to return -1. So it is as simple as that. Okay, so if you are wondering about this syntax, so this is a pretty cool syntax here in Golang. So what actually map returns is, whenever we like look for a value, it returns the value of that key and 0 value if it doesn't exist, and the second thing it returns is this found value. So it returns true if the value was found, because it might happen that you have a 0 value already in the map. For example, if 1 comma 0, so for example, if 1 comma 0 is the key value in your map, so obviously that value of 1 would be equal to 0. So let's call it map. So map of 1 would be equal to 0. But let's say that this value was not in the map, then this would again be equal to 0. So we need to return another thing, which is this found variable, which tells us whether that value exists in the map or not. So we can be sure that it's not a 0 value. Okay. So this found will tell us whether this value exists or not, and yeah, if it is found, then return that value. But actually this is not as simple as that. So now let's study some more. So put key value, it will update the value of the key if the key exists. Otherwise it will add the key value pair, and if the number of keys exceed the capacity, evict the least recently used key. So this is the important thing. So what is actually a cache? So so we can say that it has some capacity, and we can say that it has some volume. So capacity is the max volume that it can have, and volume is the current volume, we can say that. So yeah, and so let's look at this example first, and then I will explain what is going on here. So this new LRU cache 2, so it initializes a cache of length 2. Now we will put 1 comma 1 in this. So initially it was empty, so 1 comma 1 is put in this, and then 2 comma 2 we can put more value, so 2 comma 2 is put in this, and now get 1, so it will get the value 1. Now this 1 was put before 2, so this 1 is by default the least recently used, or it is the oldest value. So least recently used is the oldest value that we can have, which is used the lowest number of times. So this is by default the lowest value, but since we called a get operation here, this becomes the latest value. So this becomes the hot cake that we just asked for. And what happens is, now when we try to put another value 3, since the capacity is 2, one of these will have to be evicted. And since just in the previous operation we called get on this value 1, so we will automatically evict this value 2, because this is the latest used value and this 2 is the least recently used. So yeah, so this 2 comma 2 is evicted, and now we have 1 comma 1 and 3 comma 3 in our map. Now get 2 will return us -1 because no such value exists, and put 4 comma 4. Now we need to put 4 comma 4, but again, what is the latest value that were in use? It was 3 comma 3 because we just put that value recently in the very last operation. So this 1 comma 1 was used before that, and it automatically becomes the least recently used value, so we will evict that. And now we have 3 comma 3 and 4 comma 4 with us in the map, and now get 1 will return us -1 because no such value exists, and get 3 will get us 3, and get 4 will get us 4. But again, out of these two, the least recently used value would be this one. So whenever a new value is inserted next, this one will be removed because this was used least recently, or this was used at the oldest possible time. So you can say that, like, why am I using this word oldest time? Because that is how we are going to keep track of how the values are like, we are going to keep track of how the values are, like, at what point of time they are being used, so that we can keep a track of whether they are the recently used values or not. So yeah, let's get to the explanation part. So what I'm going to do is this. So again, I said that there are many other implementations and some of them are faster, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a queue. So why I'm doing this implementation is so hopefully you can get another idea from this question, that is, for this time series based data we can use the queue data structure. So my motto is to help you understand that also, that we can use queue for time series based things. So now what happens is that we put 1 comma 1 in our queue, then we put 2 comma 2, and then let's say we put 3 comma 3. Now this 1 comma 1 is the least recently used value, so we remove this from our queue, and our queue becomes 2 comma 2 and 3 comma 3. But now you might be wondering what happens if we call get 2. So this get 2 needs to be shifted here, because this won't remain the least recently used value. So for that we can use a priority queue or something, but I will try to make this implementation much simpler and much more cooler and intuitive. So what we can do is, whenever we call this get operation, what we will do is we will again append one more entry here. So let's say 2 comma 2, and we will have one more map called latest index in queue. So what is the latest index of any key in the queue? So latest index of the key 2 is 3. So this is 3, or actually we can say it's 4, because we are not simply eliminating this value, we are simply incrementing the pointer. So we will have two pointers, that is the current pointer which was pointing to here initially, and the second pointer, actually it's not a pointer, it's simply appending to the queue, so it's appending to the array. So now the pointer, after removing this, so by removing I mean that the pointer now points to here. Now what happens is that since we call a get operation on this value is appended again to the queue, but the latest value of this queue 2 is updated from, initially it was 2, so initially it was 2, but now it is updated to 4. So these are the internal structures that we are using, this latest index in queue and this queue itself. So I could have used a simple queue, but I don't think like there is a queue data structure here in Golang, or even if there is, like, I will again have to like see the documentation and implement it, so it's better to implement it ourselves like this. So what we are doing is we are just hacking. So we are hacking this queue data structure by ourselves. So yeah. So when we arrive here and we use the get operation, we see that okay, this will be updated here, but the current index is actually pointing to here. This current index is the current index in the queue. So now when we need to evict another thing, so let's say like we need to insert 4 here, so we know that this is already at its full capacity. It has 2 and 3 as different keys which are already here in our KV store, so we need to eliminate one of them. But since a get operation was called here, so the latest index of this 2 changes to this one now, and our current variable is here. This current pointer is the variable, or it is the key that we are going to eliminate. But can we eliminate this too? We cannot eliminate it because we know that we have another entry further down the line. So the latest index of this value is not here, so we don't need to eliminate this. So let's move our pointer here. Now this is its latest entry, and hence this becomes the least recently used thing. So eliminate this and move our pointer to the very next value, which is here. So now our pointer, the current pointer, points to here. So these are the values in the queue that needs to be eliminated in this order. This is the time intervals at which they are being used, either a put operation or a get operation. So this is what we are going to eliminate next, but we will eliminate it if the need arises, or we will remove it, evict it. Eliminate is quite a mouthful, so I will say evict. Yeah, so we will evict it when the need arises. That is when we need to put 5,5 in our KB store. So we will append it to the queue, and we will evict this 2,2 and move on further. Hence this is how we implement it, like we are going to implement it. So simply put, we will have a queue. We will have the current index of the queue, or instead of like writing it here, I can just simply write here. So we will have current index of the queue. And why do we need this capacity and volume? To determine whether we evict or not. And this current index is the current index in the queue. And what is queue? It's simply, it's an integer of, like it's an array of ends. It's the time series sequence that we are following. So this is, and one more thing that is left is the latest index of the key in the queue. Latest index is latest index of the key in the queue. Okay. So let's initialize the constructor. So return LRU cache. So KV store, it is going to be a map of int comma int. Then again same thing for latest index, or I can just copy it here. And current index is going to be 0, so we don't need to initialize it. Capacity and volumes are also going to be 0 because initially the map is empty. No, actually the capacity is going to be the capacity which is already defined here. And what is this queue going to be? It is going to be a empty array of integers. So this is how we initialize it, and yeah, so I will just write it separately for clarity. Yeah, I don't know why I'm taking time to make it more clear. It is already clear, I think. Yeah, so yeah, so this is the KV store. This is the actual key value store, the actual key value storage, and this is the latest index. It is the latest index of the key in the queue. capacity volume to determine whether we evict the value or not, and current index. This is the current index in the queue and the queue itself. So KV stores initialize an empty map. Capacity is the same as the capacity that is given in the constructor, and queue is an empty array. Now we have the get and put operation that we will implement in the next video, because this video is already somewhat long, so it's 15 minutes. So I will implement these two things here. I don't think this is the complete implementation, and we will see it in the very next video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.